What's going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and this game was brought to insert sponsor here. Yes, you too could be featured as the lone sponsor on Boit TV. All you got to do is contact 459-627-823, and you too could be a part of history. That number is not an actual number. In the right-hand corner of the map, spawning as ISIS, his name is Lucky Bam, also known as Kido, Jody, Severo Bones Jones. And on the left-hand corner of the map, we have Kimo. Now, why this game? Well, we're back on Mediterranean. Yeah! Let's go. It's been a hot minute. Mediterranean was always a fan favorite. And by a fan favorite, I mean a top player fan favorite. A lot of top players loved picking this map in tournament. And it was an absolutely... I remember several comments of people saying, man, if I have to watch another 20 minutes of Trireme Micro, I will literally lose my mind, throw my laptop out the window, and commit Harry Carey. No, they never said that. But seriously, I'm yet to see what has happened to Mediterranean since, we saw it on launch. They took it out of launch because everyone was complaining. And they said, all right, no more Mediterranean. It's cool. We'll put it back in a little bit later. It's a little bit later now. You've got archer ships. You've got hammer ships. You've got arrow siege ships. You've got myth units. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So we'll see how it all goes. We do have a Hades versus ISIS situation. A very peculiar ISIS pick here for Kido. I like that he's playing ISIS because ISIS, playing different gods on different maps instead of just playing the god you think is the best is the fastest way to learn exactly if that god is actually the best or not. Like just grinding games out, playing Zeus, for example, on Midgard, you're not going to learn anything about what is actually what potential is actually out there. And then all of a sudden, tournament comes around, someone picks something offbeat like a Thor or a Loki or a I don't know, a new Wa, and you're like, wait, hang on, I don't know how to beat that because I haven't seen it before. So I like that he's playing some off gods. ISIS on Mediterranean in Legacy was actually quite a strong god on Mediterranean, but not for the reason of having a particularly good classical fight. ISIS was all about that heroic age, ancestors eclipse the economy, build out a whole bunch of siege and stuff, or siege ships to break through all the trireme. But in Retold, you're not having that real ability of the siege ships, but you can still go for a fast heroic and then go into that. We'll see what sort of an idea, though, is going to happen here. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is if you go through Bast and you get yourself really, really early upgrades for your lumber camp, and specifically adds of wet, you can go for a really, really nice economically based playstyle where you can match the classical fight of the Hades player. But you won't have any serpents. However, you could have access to Sphinx, which you're going to be able to raid your opponent. Obviously, Anubites can also raid your opponent, but we're not going to be seeing that. We're going to be seeing Anubis, and we're going to be seeing Athena here. So Kimo going for the stock standard. Ares is actually really, really good now on water. They buffed Ares to the 9s, but you can just drop Pestilence down on your opponent's docks and you can't really build anything for ages. So you almost have to fake, if they do go Ares, you have to fake going for water and actually go for a town center, and hopefully you can get them to click that Pestilence and you're going to be okay to push back out after it's all over or something, but I don't know. Most players won't fall for that. Normally you wait for the boats to come out, and when they're out, you click Pestilence, and at least you kill the boats that are out. But we see a fast second town center here for Kido. This was something that was happening to some degree on launch, and we do see a defensive sea snakes here onto this position, just to say, Kimo, please stay away. As Kimo is now going to be getting himself out some trireme. and looking to put some pressure on. So the immediate trireme. I think the idea here is for Kimo. He's going to say, well, if you're going to go for a fast heroic, which is not, but if you're going to go for a fast heroic, I'm going to have access to a whole bunch of triremes to kill off your Leviathan spam because I can get myself this technology heroic fleet, and all these triremes are going to be great. And so far, we've got the Arrow ship spam back. It's back, guys. Kido's got himself a second town center, however. The problem for Kido, and this is always the problem with... Oh, great little Minotaur raid. This is always the problem with fast second town centers on water, is your food situation is struggle town. You need to have roughly 8 villagers on food to actually support it all. And if you have to garrison your fishing ships, you no longer have those. As Kido pulling everything away for the time being, losing fishing ships, having a little bit of a struggle. He has managed to dispatch with that Minotaur for the time being, as it's being taken out. Did get a villager or two, as the marker coming up now for Kido, and he does get a handful of these war barges out, which are a great way to defend, because you can just sit underneath your docks with the war barges, like mass war barge underneath your docks. The only really way to break that is like a huge amount of pentaconters, which do kind of get countered by the dock fire. That's Kido pushing back for the time being. Oop. Restoration. An interesting one. He will get most of his boats back up to full HP here, but still going to be a bit of a challenge. That's the Pentaconda here for Kimo. Getting taken out. Villagers retreating, or fishing ships retreating away. And Kido at this point pretty much has to make a decision. Does he just sack water now and try and get back onto it later with the superior economy on land? Like, superior economy on land translates to having more wood and gold than your opponent, but having less food, right? They're going to have all the food. And then you can try and break through it with that. Or what? I don't know. As the Pentaconda's coming through, sniping down the rest of those war barges. And Kido has stopped all production for the time being. Kimo will have full water supremacy. He can get all of his fishing ships out, fish up the entirety of this, put docks all around the map here, get himself this upgrade per scene, and live the dream. As the dock getting taken out here. Nice little Anubite here coming through. Snipes a villager, but Kimo is quick to react, quick to start shanking. Villager differential after all is said and done. 36 to 32. Kido's fast second town center has really not done what it's supposed to do. It really has not. I can't put it any more simply than that. Dock's going to come up all around the map. The town center coming up now for Kimo, I actually don't agree with. I don't. If you win the water this hard, go Heroic Age and get yourself Sultan 4 up. Get your fishing ships all up. This is all the economy you need. And then just go and kill your opponent in the Heroic Age with a ton of food-based units. If you go for the town center now, it's just slowing things down. This was something that was actually possible on Legacy as well. No one ever did it because it was a little bit more risky. On Retold, there's no risk. It's just the best play. Like, literally, right now, if he does this and he does it correctly, I think he just wins the game. Because there's just no way for Kido to defend against it. Like, it's like... This is what the new change has done with per scene coming into the Classic Age. This is literally what the change has done. It says, okay, you win the water, you get all the food, right? You get a huge boost to your economy. This is 15 fishing ships. You can get more. Get these ones in the middle of the map as well. Now seeing an attempt at a dock over here, but Kimo putting a stop to it. More docks attempting to come up here for Kido. And the other thing is that it just slows you down. Yeah, with getting fishing upgrades, yeah. If this was the case beforehand with the fishing ship upgrade in the heroic age, there's more time for the player who has lost the water to kind of get settled and get sorted out with all the chaos that's happened, you know? So that doesn't exist right anymore. At least this is my contention. I don't know if I'm 100% correct, but I could definitely imagine going for Apollo and just spamming out a whole bunch of hoplites and Hypaspists, or just hoplites and myth units, and you can just roll your opponent because you're just going to have so much more economy. Kido trying to get himself up another cheeky dock over here. It's just not going to be allowed. Kimo is playing a really, really nice game here to deny all of that. You can just set yourself up onto a patrol here with all the units and make sure that there's always something happening. There's another monument up for Kido. He's got 4 monuments. He wants that favor. He wants those Anubites. That's pretty crazy. That's a lot of monuments. And he's going Nephthys. The plan maybe was to just get a dock down and then spam Leviathans here. I could be wrong there. But 4 monuments with Necropolis? That's kind of insane. That is kind of insane, though. Like, what do they got? 0.3. He's also empowering it because why not? 0.38 plus 3. Or 0.3, right? 0.38 plus 0.3. That's 0.6 favor a second. That is an insane amount of favor to come through. Insane at this stage of the game. But whether or not he's actually going to be able to get the value out of it remains to be seen. Apollo coming through. Another reason why Ares is a good idea is because if you do end up winning the water, then you can just pump out Cyclops. Simple. Go through Aphrodite, get yourself golden apples, spend all that food on Cyclops, go and kill your opponent. Now the second prosperity comes through as Kido's favor income is through the roof. It is a huge gold income boost. Look at that, 1.62. Just a little comparison for those of you playing at home. 0.94. A huge eco boost. There's a third town center coming up onto the bottom side, and Kimo has now got himself 1, 2, 3 town centers and a dream. And that dream is, let me spam all the units. He's got buildings up literally everywhere. It's just spamming these out. If you guys want to play at the top level and you want to have some success like Kimo does, build a lot of production buildings. Because he gets all this economy going, right? He is he's so hard focused on economy that sometimes he was getting trapped with having just like a whole bunch of resources or units in queue, but not actually popping them out. That doesn't happen anymore for him at all. And it hasn't happened for him for ages. It's one of the key reasons why he has so much success in his games. As now Kido manages to actually catch Kimo with his pants down a little bit. No units here to defend. Population not quite in. The elephants more than enough to take this town center down, and Kimo is in a little bit of trouble now. Town center down. More myth units to come through. There's so much favor in the bank. Another prosperity maybe to come, because why not? More Migdols to come up onto this front here. And Kimo's pushed back. Now, it's not all bad here for Kimo. What he can do is underworld this town center over here and claim this position if he wants to. But what he can't do is give up this gold mine before it's exhausted. It's now Kido a little bit greedy grabbing this town center at the moment. He doesn't really have resources in the bank. He doesn't really have population either. At this point, I think he should just be trying to secure this position by getting full population out. But he's going for the town center. The pelt stats are getting huge value from far here. As Ancestors gets dropped down in an attempt to hold this position, 4 villages is a very slow town center to go up here. But with the Pharaoh empowering, it's going to be relatively quick as the siege towers can take down these buildings and keep moving forward. Nothing happening at the bottom of the map. It's both walled up. Both players are just like, it's fine. I wouldn't mind seeing Kido trying to grab this position. There he goes. Migdol stronghold. Exactly what he needs to do. And he's going to slowly start strangling Kimo. Kimo's got a fairly hefty amount of gold over here. He could try and go for the market in this bottom corner and start a trade route, or over on this corner here, which he's already got, and coming up to this town center. But the problem, really, the real big problem here for Kido is that he doesn't have the population, or not the population, the economy to support the population that he's got. Using this prosperity is a great way to do that. Get that huge gold boost. You get a huge amount more units in, but he needs to stop fighting. This is something I see all too often, and probably something that I do myself in my own gameplay without even realizing it. But fighting down population is just saying to your opponent, here, have some efficient trades. Whereas you can just move back, take a breather, get yourself to full population, and then all of a sudden it's, okay, now I'm the one taking efficient trades, and I'm not losing my population, and I'm able to sustain my 240 pop against your 190. But nonetheless, Kimo now, he's getting himself some Petropoli out to siege down this town center, which, of course, is what he's going to be doing. As he has to retreat back, we're seeing Elephant Slinger for the moment here for Kido, as his town center about to fall down. But in the old school style, some mercenary cavalry coming to try and save the day, but the town center has fallen. These Elephant are doing a fantastic job for the time being, but wow, Hephaestus on the way here for Kimo, not going for that Artemis. Wants Hephaestus, wants to play the long game, wants that boosted economy from those plenty vaults. There's one elephant down. And Kido slowly but surely falling behind in this game. I think this is... He had this game in the palm of his hand. Winning that fight, that surprise attack, killing that town center. I think he kind of threw it by putting the town center up and continue to fight. Either put the town center up and just back up, get to full pop, or get to full pop first and then grab the town center. But nonetheless, the game's still not over just yet. Another Migdol over here to come down to try and pump out more units. As we still haven't seen the ISIS army taking a full population fight against the Hades army. As Artemis... Whoop. A change? A little change in a little shenanigans over here. Artemis coming through. We see Thoth coming in here now as well. Oh, and now the Leviathan are coming through. Like, does... Little bits of raids onto the water to take out these fishing ships. It's not the biggest thing. This doesn't really matter here for Kimo, in my opinion. Like, he can sack the water. All of this is wasted population on the water here from Kido to some degree. At least Kimo should feel that way. Like, he can push this position much harder than he needs to defend on the water. Is there any town centers in range? It doesn't look like there's any town centers in range, so even if he loses the water, it's not that big of a deal. And what I mean by that is town centers in range of siege ships. We haven't really seen that, but if you get to champion ships, fully upgraded ships, these war barges get quite a bit of range, so they can actually siege down town centers that are relatively close to the shore, but that's not an option here. As Kido trying to break through this with his axemen, they're dying very, very quickly. He needs to get himself those upgrades for the chariots. Basically, pure chariots here with a handful of elephants is sort of the ideal comp, because you can just continue to space. And if you got the elephants in and your opponent sends the Peltas forward, you can kind of just walk the elephants onto them. Or at the very least, have those Migdols. We do see Meteor getting dropped down onto that back line there. Going to be cleaning up a huge amount of these units as Kimo just sits and watches. It's now over onto this position. Just a little bit of an attack from Kimo, but nothing too much. As the dock's going to go down. I wonder if Kido is going to grab some fishing spots. If you look at the fish, Wait, we haven't... Is this... Yes. 1.25 food per second. That's a lot of food per second. Compare it over to a farmer right here. 0.77. But he doesn't have the upgrades just yet. Only plow. Nice champion archers. Shafts of plate coming through. We've got that coinage also on the way here. And now it's Underworld time. Push over here. Take this gold mine. I like that idea. If we take a quick look at Kido's actual gold situation, this is almost gone. This is basically gone as well. Ancestors gets dropped down somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where he clicked it. If I was in Ancestors, where would I be? Is it just dead already? Oh no, there it is. A couple of minions to come through, but that's not going to be much of a help here. Meanwhile, over on this side, the attempt to take down the Underworld Passage, going well, but the catapult does end up getting taken out. And Kimo is now here to put some pressure back. Had maybe Kido had Burning Pitch here, he probably would have killed the Underworld off, but not quite able to do so. As Earthquake clicked in the worst possible position it could go. He denies something. Maybe a Migdol? The town center is going to be living here. So as the Chimera coming through, the way that... We say it every time, but the way that the town center works... Or sorry, the Earthquake works is that if you put the town center in the center of the Earthquake, it'll go down. Maybe at 3360, I'm not sure. HP, I'm not sure. But if you put it in the middle of the town center, it goes down. And that's not what Kimo did there. As full chariots now out. Still not quite able to get to that full population. Kido does get himself a couple more fishing ships out onto the map. He doesn't have his upgrades in just yet. Needs to get that Salt Amphora. The villagers getting picked over here does definitely hurt. As the Peltas able to actually counter these chariot archers quite nicely. As Kimo, Kimo gonna have to deal with slingers here, but even with slingers don't do too well against the Peltas. The Peltas were nerfed a touch, so maybe they're a little bit better. Not exactly sure. But I definitely think elephants are your best bet in these sorts of situations. As Migdol strongholds coming up all over the place. An attempt to move this siege tower into position. Doesn't even get one shot off. Can't afford to be throwing away resources like that at the moment, but nonetheless, the chariot archer is getting some good value over onto this side, just raiding villages. Kido should be kind of okay with this happening. He just has to garrison the villages, not doing so at the moment, but he should be kind of okay. Meanwhile, all of these docks getting cleaned up. It's a lot of wasted population on water for the time being. I got a question, guys. I kind of thought that it would get fixed, quote unquote fixed, because I thought it was actually more of a bug than a balance problem. But I also think it's a balance problem as well now. What do you think about poison damage affecting a siege tower, affecting a catapult, affecting siege weapons? Personally, I think it just is, it doesn't make sense, right? Like, it's like, it shouldn't. They shouldn't get their damage there. But obviously they do. And this allows these Peltast to actually defend against siege towers. What do you guys think? Any thoughts? Feelings? Condolences? Do you think it's a good thing? Because it's not just the Peltast either, right? It's also fire archers from China. Anything else off the top of my head? Not sure. I think that's it. The Wadget. Yep, the Wadget can do some stuff there. For sure. Also, I guess bleed damage from a Stymphalian bird or from a hoplite. Not a hoplite. A Murmillo. It just doesn't quite make sense. Another minions to come through as Kimo Almost able to break through this town center. At the moment, he's putting up a fortress here. Going to be able to get through here very, very shortly. As Kido is struggling mightily to get these Deuterinos out. Is he empowering a fortress at the moment? He is. So he is getting out chariots pretty quickly. The big weakness of this, right, is you don't really want to have the Pharaoh here. You want to have the Pharaoh over on the gold mine. On the gold mine, on the market. To get extra gold in. But obviously, when you're not at... But when you're lower than 250 pop, you want to have it on the Migdol stronghold. So it's a difficult thing to balance. Because you have to kind of remember to take it off and move it over, and maybe it's best to just put a Migdol right next to the market so you can swap it when needed. I don't know. Kido rolling in with these siege towers. Unfortunately, I think that I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to soak up the Peltas, but I think you need something a little bit different here. Maybe like Axemen to kill off everything. Maybe get some elephants. But it is a very, very difficult comp to kill at this point. As the siege tower ends up going down. Chariot archers on the back here for Kido are able to defend this position for the time being. It's over on this side. Kimo's starting to push forward. I mean, technically speaking, does the siege tower have more HP than an elephant? I guess it does. 350 versus... What's an elephant? I can't even tell you. I can't tell you without seeing one on the map. I think maybe the siege tower has got... I think maybe the siege tower has got more HP. Maybe he's right. Maybe this is the better option. Just to tank. But then the elephants do more damage to the Peltas. And they do survive for longer against the hoplites. It showed... Wait, did it? Oh, it did. I'm dumb. Really? Where? Oh, it says it here. 495. Okay, so no, the elephant's got way more HP than the siege tower. So yeah, it's just better. It's just better to build the elephant. Okay, I take it back. Elephants are the best. Elephants are the best. I'm big dum dum. But I guess at the moment, like, look at the resources. Kido's just got nothing. And because he's got nothing, he's falling behind in armory. He's missing the armory upgrades. We are seeing Kimo getting its final one of iron armor. Doesn't really need it because there's no hack units being built by Kido at the moment. But nonetheless, he's able to grab that. Pushing through onto the top side. Going to be able to take out the monument to the pharaohs here. He could drop another prosperity to hit the trade route. Makes it move faster. Well, I don't think Kido is building chariots because of the Peltas. He's building chariots because of the hoplites. Realistically, you could probably go like Axeman elephant, right? That's probably like a really good comp against hoplite Peltas, no? Obviously very food heavy, but yeah, Phoenix is another option for sure. And I mean, Kimo's got himself an underworld here, so he's able to go from both sides of the map. He's able to move over here with Peltas while the chariot archers aren't here. If chariot archers come to the top, he's good to go. But yeah, I think maybe the other reason is he just doesn't have the resources. He does have a whole bunch of fishing ships. Are they working? Are they working hard? They are working hard. Look at them go. 1.13. No point going Peltas if CA or Slingers though. Toxotes hope. Yeah, but then if they go Toxotes hoplites, now you can go back into Chariot Archers. That's the whole point. The whole point about Age of Mythology, about RTS games, is you have to make this like constant adaptation to what your opponent's building. The problem is when no adaptation happens, and this is kind of what's happening in this game, and this is sort of why... Well, this is sort of why Kimo's winning. In a way. But at this point, Townsend are down. And I think Kido might simply just not be able to hold here. And he sort of attempted a side build shenanigans. I don't see it. A big siege tower push across here into the main base and kill off everything. Townsend are coming up here for Kimo, but there is a siege tower to the knife for the first bit as a Titan gate getting queued up just to add insult to injury. Kimo saying, I've got all the resources in the world. And now also the Gash to Fedoris in to make the push even more brutal. I'm not sure what else Kido can do here. He's going to try. He still doesn't have himself fully upgraded Axeman either. You have to remember he's also not got his fully upgraded unit, so he's struggling where that's concerned. And there we go. He's going to tap out, and Kimo takes the dub. Very, very nice little play here from Kimo. I think the game was sort of in the balance here. This moment here where Kido pushed through and took the position. But it's that thing where it's like you're fighting a losing battle there by accepting to take the fight. So you just have to back up. This is that thing that you just have to back up, be a little bit more aware of what your opponent's got. Maybe even selecting how many units they have and having a quick math for counting how many units you've got. So you can be like, do I have enough population to take this fight? I mean, the answer was no. And that's why Kido just couldn't get to his 4 town center population and find an angle to win. But well played there by Kimo, and better luck next time to Kido. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.